like you're in a thriller, heart goes pum pum pum. Ghostly figures, they can get so bitter. Show you want to enter, you can turn back. You don't know where I.
Alrighty, time for another mailbag. Welcome to Stuff It, everybody. A fantasy basketball podcast brought to you, as always, by FanDuel, part of the Old Man Squad Network and part of the Believe Network. Please follow along on Twitter at AdamKing91, at Old Man Squad Fantasy, and at Noah Rubin 22, wearing a Charlotte shirt. Have you changed allegiances based on the CJ McCollum final play yesterday?
Gosh, that really made me think about it. But no, I'm just I just like collecting NBA gear. So
just in case.
I'm just an NBA fan, you know. I'm a Hawks fan, but I'm an NBA fan. So I don't hate any teams. I like players on every team. So I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll have a shirt.
Do you like CJ McCollum?
I'm not a huge fan of having him on my team.
No, it was
Not
a questionable choice of shot.
It interrupted a conversation with my wife. Like I was trying to have like a semi-important conversation. It was just like, are you kidding me? Did you actually just? And then how to get back to that. But anyways,
it was not. It was not pretty. All right, we're here to answer questions. We figure that there's going to be some Warrior questions. Of course, the news actually broke very quickly, surprisingly, courtesy of Shams last night. It came in when I was making dinner, so that would have been 6 p.m. So it was probably only like an hour, 1 to 2 hours after the game finished that they actually announced he's torn his ACL, which, I mean, we all thought that was the case. It looked exactly, having done the exact same injury 12 months ago, I watched it and went, oh, yeah, I know what he's done.
Yeah.
And I think he did as well. But, yeah, released very quickly, which was surprising but good. And I'm thinking we'll get questions. If we don't, we'll talk about it, but I feel like we will. We'll just jump straight into the questions because we usually get more than we can answer anyway. First question, I thought the Hawks said they'd be better off without Trey. Well, it's not really a question. It's a statement. They haven't been great since the trade. Did we probably did break down or get your thoughts on the trade and moving forward without Trey Young, but do you think it was the right decision based on all of the factors that went into it?
I think it was the right decision to move him. I didn't love the return at the time. I mean, I think it's like, I get it. That's what his value was perceived around the league based on who wanted him. But I think he's worth more than CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. I know that's
do you think they held
crazy,
off?
But
do you think they held off too long on moving him? Because I read or I heard or something about there was potentially a trade with Toronto at one point, which involved Emmanuel Quickley. I think you'd rather Emmanuel Quickley than CJ McCollum. So did they wait too long to pull the trigger, so to speak?
I think that was from this past summer. But honestly, the report was saying that they just didn't want the money tied up in Emmanuel Quickley. Like CJ McCollum's an expiring contract. Corey Kispert's on a longer deal, but it's not a super expensive deal. So, I mean, they said it was entirely about cap flexibility.
Yeah,
I don't think it was about being a better basketball team now, but like their record when Trae Young finishes a game this season is 1-9. So they have been better this year when he hasn't played. So they're not a average team. Then they trade him off the roster in a championship team. I think this is more about building for the future, not for this season. Anyways.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Hinny Mini, how do we decide between stashes, short-term ads, and long-term injury holds? I'm currently stashing Jalen Smith, Sharp, that's Dayron Sharp, and Justin Champagny, the Wizards Champagny. Thank you for clarifying that. Debating whether to drop one to pick up someone like Jordan Miller or whoever benefits from Butler's unfortunate injury. Look, I guess different situations there with Miller and insert Warriors player here, because Jordan Miller is at the moment a short-term 1-2 week kind of guy, because once Kawhi is back, he loses the bulk of his value. whoever benefits in Golden State is a rest of season potentially pickup because Butler's not coming back. So they're very different situations. In terms of the guys you're holding there, Jalen Smith, Day'Ron Sharpe, Justin Champagnie. Jalen Smith's giving you production now. Justin Champagnie is giving you some production. Day'Ron Sharpe occasionally. For me, it sort of just comes down to standings. Where you, like, if you're at the top of the standings, you can obviously take a little bit more of a risk and go for a stash kind of player rather than someone who's necessarily giving you value right now. Yeah, so and build and all that sort of thing. Like, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but we are, what are we, 2.5 weeks from the trade deadline, something like that. So we are getting closer to that.
Yeah.
When you need to be stashing. Do you have a theory behind the way that you would decide, or would it just come down to, do I need production right now, or can I stash hoping to get production in February, March, April?
It is entirely dependent on where my team is in the standings. Pretty typically, I play it a little bit more focused on getting that production come playoff time, or at least closer to fantasy playoff time, which helps me some. Sometimes it's risky because that's what I did with the FBI World Cup, and I fell 1.5 points or games out of making the top 8 in that, because I was just like, okay, let me just focus on who's going to be healthy for the playoffs. I just got to sneak in at 8. So that's the way I play it. So it's more of a focus on who's going to help me later on than who's going to help me right now, especially in leagues where you have a fab limit. Like if it's like $1,000 or whatever, it's like having as much of that as possible so that I can just get my prioritized option over everyone else. That's the way I normally play it. Jordan Miller's been great. I think if you can get him, then go for it, but he's not like a priority to me until there's some sort of diagnosis that Kawhi is going to miss more time, which doesn't seem like that's the case, but you never know.
Okay, someone dropped Cater in my league. Should I drop Mark Williams or Jalen Smith? Punting, assists, and threes. So free throw percentage matters a lot. If free throw percentage matters a lot, Jalen Smith is probably the best of those three. Am I right there? Cater's not great at free throw percentage.
Smith is at 74.1 on 1.7.
Mark Williams
attempts.
is actually pretty good, I think. Surprisingly.
He's actually better and more attempts, 78.4 at 3.5 attempts.
Yeah, okay. So would I drop? Look, if free throw percentage is crucial, and that's sort of a category that you are needing to improve, then I would consider dropping Cater for Mark Williams. I think they play similar minutes.
He has Mark Williams, so his Cater is available.
Oh, sorry. Someone dropped Cater. Should I drop Mark Williams? Yes. Probably not. Jalen Smith, though, is an interesting one because he is playing, like I said, he's giving his production now, but we don't know what the Bulls are going to do. And obviously if Vooch is moved, that almost completely unlocks Jalen Smith. At the moment, he is still a little bit hamstrung, I suppose, by the fact that he's playing alongside Vooch or behind Vooch. Cater has very, very little upside. What he's been doing this season is what he's going to do rest of the season. Nothing is changing, I don't think, in Boston. So I wouldn't drop Mark Williams for him. Jalen Smith, I'd consider it, but you would be taking a hit in free throw percentage and threes, but probably getting were you getting a bump in rebounds? Smith's been pretty good on the boards.
But you're also, he's punting threes. So that was one of the other things I was going to say is Jalen Smith does get, I think he's at 1.4 this season. Cater doesn't hit any. And it's low volume free throws for both of them. I think Smith's roughly 8% better, but it's 1.7 attempts versus 2 point something. So it's very, very low volume. But it's not like you need to definitely get the worst 3-point shooter. So
yeah.
But then there's also the factor of if Vooch gets moved, then
Yeah, that's right. 4-punt build, Cason Wallace or Chris Dunn for steals, or neither. I don't know. I mean, Cason Wallace, with Jalen Williams likely out for a few weeks, should do a little bit more, but he did absolutely nothing yesterday. It was Aaron Wiggins who stepped up. Chris Dunn I feel like he's been a little bit better of late in terms of steals. So I would probably go with Chris Dunn. At the moment, I don't think either of them are guys you're going to have to hold long term. So for now, I think Dunn is probably doing a bit more and playing a bit more. So yeah, I'd go with Chris Dunn in that one. Thoughts on Austin Reaves rest of season? He's been out a month. He was always going to be out a month, I think. So no real surprises in terms of the length of the injury absence. He'll be really good. I mean, the Lakers need him back. It's pretty clear. So there'll be a ramp-up time. But do you see sort of his value changing at all? Just having a look where he's been this season.
Yeah, I think, so the initial reevaluation period was 4 weeks, which will be this Friday. Mm-hmm. So expecting some sort of update then. Not sure whether that means he'll be out another week, he'll be out another 3 weeks, or if he'll be back the next day. But yeah, he's been really good this year. So I'm assuming that they've given him ample time to recover and return. And there's no sense of like, hey, he could re-injure this and be out longer. I'm expecting him to be really productive. I know LeBron's been better as of late, but I can't imagine like Reaves is going to take a dramatic hit. So I'm excited to see what he can do when he gets back.
Yeah, and they've lost 5 of their last 7 games, so they need him back. Now, obviously, they're not going to rush him, but yeah, I do think once he's back and at full health, he'll just go back to doing what he was doing, and that he was a sort of a second, third round player. So I don't see anything changing. I have Jokic and Butler in a 12-team 9-cat league. How do you recover from losing to? It's tough. Jokic, I guess, could potentially be back in a week. They haven't really said a lot. And yeah, Butler obviously is done for the season. How do you recover? Stream, get lucky off the waivers, make a trade. It's pretty hard if you lose 2 of your top 4 picks. I'm actually dealing with that exact situation in my industry pickup. So I have Anthony Davis and I have Walker Kessler, and obviously I lost Walker Kessler for the whole season, and Anthony Davis pretty much for the whole season. And I'm in 9th at the moment. So I'm streaming in Musa Cisse and picked up Mamu Kelishvili for tonight. That's you really just have to be, I think, strategic with making the most of the waiver wire. If it's hopefully it's a decent waiver wire, but I mean, any strategies from you, particularly in a situation? It's tough. I mean, it comes down to luck. There is an element of luck, unfortunately, and it hasn't been on your side.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you try and get the player that's going to step up, but you don't really have to. I think, assuming if you're able to make some sort of consolidation trade, I don't hate that idea. Like if you can take one of your other good players and turn them into 2 slightly lesser players, just to kind of make up for missing out on one, or in this case, 2 really good, very productive players. I think with Jokic, like just trying to survive until he gets back. I have Jokic in one of my leagues, and thankfully I was high enough in the standings that it hasn't really derailed my season. But yeah, you're just trying to, I think some sort of trade like that, or if you're really struggling, trading Jokic to try and get someone that can help you right now. Those are like 2 options right there, just to try and make up for it best you can. But in reality, I think this just kind of goes across every fantasy sport. Like sometimes you just get hosed.
Yep, that's right. That's why I play in 14 leagues, because I'm at least gonna win. The odds are. One of them. Yeah, that's right. The odds are in my favor. G'day, Kingy and Noah. Hello, Oz Sauce. Hope none of the Aussie, maybe. Very nice. PJ Washington. Keegan Murray got dropped in a 14-team league. I have Max Christie, Yegor Dioman, Colin Gillespie, Miles Turner as possible drops. Gillespie's going to be interesting. Jalen Green is back tonight. Booker is playing. So they're at full health tonight. So we'll get a bit of a look at what Gillespie's role is going to be. Now, obviously, Jalen Green is going to be very limited for the first week, if not 2 weeks, coming off his second straight hamstring injury. So I'm certainly holding Gillespie for now. Max Christie has been really good the last couple of games, but he is very empty. He's points and threes only. He does nothing else. And we've seen Max Christie over the last 2 years. He does this. He gets red hot for a week and then he drops off and he's outside the top 200. So I know dropping someone that's just scored 26 points and hit 8 threes is tough. But I wouldn't drop Gillespie just yet. Turner, I don't know. I'm not super interested in Keegan Murray. He's just the Kings. I'm avoiding the Kings. PJ Washington, though, I think is an intriguing one because he'll play a huge role once he's back. So, I mean, who would you drop here? Would you be okay with dropping Max Christie, Yegor Dioman, maybe?
I think those, I'm not really interested in dropping Gillespie. I think Turner just hurts too much to drop, even though he's been disappointing. Probably Christie. For PJ Washington, I'm just very much a believer that Dioman's going to have a strong finish to this season.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be dropping him at this point. I think if he's sitting on waiver wire, you could probably wait a little bit to pick up Dioman, but like having him as a stashes guy, I just don't think at this point, if you've been holding on to him, it's worth dropping him.
Horsey Man 5. Good morning, lads. I'm in the same boat as some others where I've already secured a playoff spot for March. Is it worth looking to trade for injured players? E.g., Derek Queen, Zach LaVine for J-Dub. Look, it's certainly worth considering. LaVine, I'd have no issues moving LaVine because, again, I have no idea what the Kings are going to do. Derek Queen can't really get any better. He's been playing big minutes and production's been up and down, but he's been really good. Jalen Williams, we don't have a timeline on him yet, but a hamstring injury, as we've seen this season, can be 2-3 weeks, but in a lot of instances, it's been more than that, 4 to 6 weeks. So we are looking at an extended layoff for J-Dub. So you're looking at potentially no production until after the All-Star break, which is a long time. That's 3-4 weeks of fantasy basketball. So have a look at, if you're losing Queen and LaVine to pick up nothing for the next month, how is that going to impact your team? I would definitely consider it, just keeping in mind that you're looking at a lengthy absence here. Is it a tactic that you use personally? Or I haven't really, but I don't mind it.
I think I've tried to. Just doesn't seem to work super well from my experience, but everyone's different. I just think that, even if it makes sense for someone, they don't really want to give up their best player, even if they have to wait on them. So it's probably tough to make it happen, but I think it's like this specific deal is something that I would definitely try and do, especially if you're already locked into a playoff spot.
Okay. Are we holding John Collins in a 10-team league? I think while Kawhi is out, probably, but once Kawhi is back, assuming he comes back and he's okay, I don't think he'll be a hold. A soft hold, depending on the categories you need, but he hasn't been very good this season.
Yeah, I don't think he's I don't think you have to hold him, especially in a 10-team league, but just would depend on who's available on the waiver wire. There's a case because he did have a nice stretch here for the last couple games. I don't know. I don't like you can. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, he's one of those, sure, why not? But also if you drop him, I don't think you'll regret it. I traded DeRozan and Brandon Miller for Derek White. Did I give up too much value punting field goal percentage? No, I mean, look, you're getting the best player there. I think getting off anyone in Sacramento is a good idea. So, yeah, no, I'm okay with that trade. I think Derek White's been really good, and if you're punting field goal percentage, he's even better. So, yeah, I think he's at his career worst season. He's under 40% from the field. Yeah, 39%, and he's a 23rd ranked player. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. What do you think? Would you be okay getting Derek White there?
Yeah, absolutely. I really like that trade.
Yep. Good to see Jalen Johnson's usage up yesterday. Last play from CJ really pissed me off. Yeah, fair. How do you draw a play for that? I don't honestly. I don't know. I don't look. Maybe this was the play. Maybe this was drawn up by Quinn Snyder. If so, yeah, I'm not sure if Quinn Snyder should be coaching because you've got other guys there. You didn't need a 3. That to me was the biggest. Like they were down by 2. That I'm correct there.
Yeah, I think he took a 2, but I think it was a 2.
It was like a
took,
long
right?
2 or a mid. Like why not just get Jalen Johnson going downhill to the basket? I mean, Dyson heading to the basket is always a good option too. So, yeah, it was, I don't know. It was certainly a choice by CJ and Atlanta. Thoughts on punt builds that lean into both percentages and defensive stats? Because they're low volume categories, do you think it makes them inherently more valuable and worse to invest into comparatively? Yeah, if you're so I mean spoiler, but already looking ahead to next season, I'll be punting percentages in a lot of leagues next year because I'm just done with percentages. They're very frustrating and very they fluctuate a lot. I tweeted something yesterday about VJ Edgecombe going 5 of 9 from the free throw line or something. That can just tank your week. High volume guys that randomly miss 4 or 5 free throws in a game, it hurts. So I will be punting percentages next year, probably points as well, and I'm going to lean into targeting steals, blocks, rebounds, assists. And I've already I set up a trial league which we're playing out this season, which we didn't even have percentages as categories. We had field goals made, 3-pointers made, free throws made. So we got rid of percentages completely. That was a little bit of me venting on how frustrated I've been with percentages. But look, there's pros and cons to punting any and all categories. So yes, if they're low volume, they are more valuable. But on the flip side, they are more. It's easier to like. If you're up against Tyrese Maxey yesterday and you need to win steals, he got 8 steals. So that usually in a weekly matchup, to be a dominant kind of team in steals, you're looking at 40 to 50 steals for the week, maybe in a standard kind of setting. Tyrese Maxey got a 1/5 of that in one game yesterday. So you might be up against a team that you should beat in steals because you have, I don't know, you have Dyson Daniels and you have Cason Wallace and you have these guys. And then this other team gets a lucky break with someone like Tyrese Maxey getting 8 steals and you lose steals. So that's the risk, is that it doesn't take much to flip that category. Is that a question or is that just someone complaining about CJ again? Yeah, it's just someone complaining about CJ. Should have labeled this show, "What are you doing, CJ McCollum?" Okay, here we go. A Warriors question. I thought we'd get more of these, honestly. Given Jimmy's diagnosis, are any of the following guys must roster? Moody, Melton, Buddy, Pods, Post. 10-team, 9-cat. 10-team. That changes it a little bit. What I guess if we're just speaking generally here and more broadly, in terms of pickups following the Jimmy Butler news, I think these are all the names, and Kuminga is one that's going to be thrown around as well. Do you have an order or a sort of a preference in terms of who you would target? Build aside, just looking at overall value, can you rank these guys or not?
I think I want to say Pods at 1. Then Melton, Moody, Buddy, Post. I just think Pods to me is the clear winner. Melton's been really good when he's played this season. Moody's starting, so that helps, but he's been inconsistent. We know what Buddy Hield is. You could even make an argument to have Buddy Hield last. I mean, we know he can get hot, but we also know that he can be very cold and not hit any shots. He doesn't really give you much in other categories. Post is interesting. I think there is some upside there, but it's also a little bit dependent on Draymond's availability. Though they could end up starting both now that Jimmy Butler is out. So interested to see what the lineup looks like. I'm sure Steve Kerr will change it 17 more times over the rest of the season. But I would prioritize Pods and Melton.
Yeah, I think I'd have Pods and Melton as my top two. Then I would go Moody. I think I'd have Post ahead of Buddy. But part of that will come down to whether they play Kuminga. I think that question needs to be answered first, because if they play Kuminga, then I guess you have to give him a look. And I think if they don't play Kuminga, then Draymond Green is going to have to play a lot more at the 4, which means someone like Quentin Post is going to play a bit more. So I think once we get an answer to that, and Steve Kerr, of course, was very non-committal in his response to that question of, does this mean that Kuminga will get into the lineup? And he sort of just said, hey, he might, but we don't know what's going on behind closed doors here and what the relationship is like. So I think at the moment, like for example, I mean, I already had him, but Melton I now have in 7 leagues, and I'd already picked him up in 6 leagues, I think. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I'll wait and see. But yeah, I think let's see what his role looks like. 4 punt, 2 questions from Shining Knight. 4 punt bill, get Scotty, give Zion and Keyshawn George. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. I think Scotty's been very good this season. Yep, I'd be okay. And 9 cat 10 team, no punts, just a trade request. So getting Maxey and giving up Jalen Johnson and Derek Queen. Ooh, what do you think about that one? Maxey's the best player, but Jalen Johnson's good too.
He is, and I know he's been struggling a little bit recently, and the timing of it makes the narrative, the Hawks trade Trae Young and now Jalen Johnson, it was all fraudulent, but it's like, it's just a rough stretch. He played really well most of the season without Trae Young. Nothing changes just because Trae Young's no longer on the roster. So I expect Jalen Johnson to be better, but even if he does, he hasn't, at his best, he hasn't been as good as Maxey this season. So I would be fine making this trade and then streaming in someone else, because you can probably get something somewhat comparable in a 10-team league on the waiver wire comparison to Derek Queen.
Yeah, I think so. Queen, and we've seen Queen all year. He's very good, and then he's very bad, and that's a rookie center playing a huge role. So yeah, I'd be okay with that. Okay, my team is Dyson, Cade, Harden, Rollins, Yegor, Keyshawn, Buzelis, Monk, Eason, PJ, Jalen, Pods, and Davion Mitchell. Would we trade Dyson, Daniels, and Ryan Rollins for Booker or Buzelis and Dyson for Booker? So getting Booker, moving off Dyson, and one of Rollins or Buzelis. I think it's fair. Booker is the best player there. Although, I mean, Dyson's been really good. He almost had a triple-double yesterday, 4 defensive stats. Obviously not hitting threes. He's in a bit of a slump from the 3-point line at the moment. I don't know. I guess this is how high are we on Booker? Because I don't think Booker's been fantastic this season. He's been fine. Jalen Green is about to come back, so that's going to take some usage away from Booker. So I think if your team is going well, if you're sitting really comfortably in the standings here, I think I'd stick. What do you think? Would you take a bit of a chance and go for Booker?
I think I'd stick. If I were to do one, it would be Buzelis and Dyson. I'd much rather have Rollins than Buzelis. I think if Devin Booker was playing as well as we thought he would this season, or at least as well as I thought he would this season, then this would be a no-brainer. But I think that if that was the case, then this trade wouldn't be on the table. So I'd probably hold here.
Yep. 10-team points league, are we adding Melton, and would we drop Jalen Tyson, Jordan Miller, Tari Eason, or Jalen Suggs to pick him up? Points league is different. Melton has a lot more value in a category league generally, although he has been scoring the ball well. Would I drop any of those players for him? I mean, Suggs, I don't know. We don't know when he's coming back. Eason is potentially back today. Has he been? I don't think I know he's questionable. There hasn't been an update.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like it. No, okay. So he's close anyway because he's been questionable for the last couple of games. So Eason is, if not today, he could be back in the next 1 to 2 games. I wouldn't drop Jordan Miller. I wouldn't drop Jalen Tyson. Suggs would be the one for me that I'd consider dropping.
I think depending on where you are in the standings, you could consider Jordan Miller. Like if you need that production right now, then that's fine. But Melton's going to have longer term production than Miller, I think.
Okay, Peyton Watson question. Is it worth keeping him when Jokic comes back, or should I look at moving him beforehand? I mean, you could look to move him. It really depends what you're going to get back for him. If you could move him for a top 50 player, I probably would, but I don't know if anyone's giving you a top 50 player. So I'd be, I mean, I would try, but if you can't do it, I wouldn't sort of stress. I think Peyton Watson's done enough to hold his spot in the rotation.
Yeah, I think if you're able to do some sort of sell high, like you said, then I like that. But I think that there's absolutely an argument for him to start over Christian Brown based on how both of them have played this season. So he could still maintain some level of production.
Yep. I know everyone is sprinting to grab Moody post Richard, but I feel like Melton is the ad. Do we agree? Yeah, I think we both agreed that Melton and Moody are the top two here. So if you've picked up Melton, then as I said, I've got him in a ton of leagues at the moment. I don't have Moody in any. Moody has been starting, so his role doesn't really change. Maybe he plays a couple more minutes, but his role doesn't change. Obviously, without Jimmy there, there's more usage to go around. The question with Melton is how high do they push his minutes? Because at the moment he's limited to about 24. He's coming off the ACL injury, so he's not playing back-to-backs. In their mind, are they pushing him to a 28 to 30 minute player at some point this season, or are they keeping him at 24? Because that obviously limits his overall upside. But even in 24, he's been really good. So, I think Melton and Moody are the targets there.
Mm-hmm.
Look, possibly. So I know it's not best to be speculating business in the speculating business, but is Kawhi going to be out for longer than the 2 games? Not getting assessed until Thursday, plus his knee history. Could Miller be a rest of season play? Well, I mean, in the answer to that question, there's a chance. There's no indication that this is a serious knee injury. I did speculate, though, that I thought Kawhi would be out longer than 2 games. But whether that's a week, 2 weeks, All-Star break, we have no idea. So Miller is someone you go and add, and then you just continue to reevaluate if and when we get news from the Clippers. But, of course, given given Kawhi's history here, there is a chance that he misses multiple games, multiple weeks. But I don't. Yeah, it's hard to speculate with something like this.
Yep.
Nobody asked about this. Noah, what do you think? Is there a possibility that Curry gets shut down or limited or something down the stretch if the Warriors, without Jimmy Butler, sort of fall into that play-in? I mean, they're already in the play-in discussion, but if they sort of bottom out a little bit, do you think there's a chance that they... Because they're not going to have Jimmy Butler now really for half of next season, in theory, because he is an older player. So are they going to be in the trade market? Do they view their window as sort of now, or are they going to rest Curry thinking that next season they might be able to pick up some pieces? It's a lot of questions in Golden State.
Yeah, there is a lot of questions. That's an interesting thought I hadn't even really had, honestly. They're currently 5.5 games ahead of the Grizzlies, who are in 11th right now. Warriors are in 8th. We could maybe see him shut down in April if things really, really go bad. But there was a report from Brett, I believe it's Siegel, so you pronounce his last name, I could be wrong on that, from Clutch Points, that the Warriors could be open to trading Jimmy Butler now. So like, I don't know what they can get back, but something could they trade Jonathan Kuminga? I don't see them just staying put at the deadline. I think that they're going to make an aggressive move because you have to try and maximize these Curry years as much as possible. I mean, he keeps doing it even as he ages, which is impressive. But at some point, it's like you really have to kind of go all in. So I think they're going to just keep trying until they're actually like fully eliminated. So I don't really see him being shut down until maybe the last week or two of the season, if that impacts your league.
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully your fantasy playoffs end before then.
Exactly.
Big trade here. Jalen Johnson, Darius Garland, OG Anunoby for Luka Doncic, Jalen Duren, and VJ Edgecombe. Yeah, sure. It does. I mean, just looking at it on the surface, it doesn't look super sort of lopsided or anything like that.
I like it.
I think I'm sort of comparing, like Luka is the best player. So Luka I'd have over Jalen Johnson. Edgecombe and Garland, I guess you could sort of almost, I mean, they're similar-ish kind of players. But Garland has been injured a lot. Duran's been really good. Anunoby's been good too. But yeah, I think I'd be okay doing it. Getting Luka there, I think, is probably the tipping point for me. I'd take Luka.
Yeah, I think you could make the argument that Jalen Johnson's been better than Luka this season, but it kind of depends on what categories. And I would still say that, I trust Luka a little bit more. The Garland injury, I think here is the big thing, is that it's the same freaking toe. So Duran's been really good. He's been better than Garland. Edgecombe's been somewhat inconsistent but like he's been able to have some really big nights, specifically with steals, which could probably offset anything that you're really relying on from OG. So I really like the deal.
I'm sick of Tyler Hero. Fair enough. No IL. Do I drop him and pick up Larson? I mean, I'm probably the most anti-Tyler Hero person in the world. I wouldn't be dropping Tyler Hero.
No.
I mean, we don't have we know what injury he's dealing with here, and it is a bit of a weird one. So we don't have a really good sort of a history of these kinds of injuries to know, is this a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 4 weeks? It's a rib injury, and my understanding is that it's sort of to do with the cartilage where the ribs join the sort of main skeleton. That's a weird word to say, but yeah, sort of in that cartilage area. So it sounds like it's from what my limited Google searching on what this injury is, it sounds like it impacts his ability to breathe, and obviously that's pretty important when you're playing basketball. So a bit of a pain tolerance kind of thing. So I've broken my ribs in the past, and it is a really annoying injury. You really can't do any physical activity because as soon as you start sort of taking deep breaths, the ribs just kill. So I would assume it's a similar kind of pain. And a broken rib can be 4 to 6 weeks. So this could be all-star break, but without knowing too much, it could also be a week. But I wouldn't drop him yet. What about you?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't drop him until there's a more, I guess, clear timeline, in which case you could probably make a better decision about it. But it has been frustrating. I have him in, I think, just one league, but it's been frustrating in that league because I've also got Jokic in that league. So not fun.
Matt Carmody, friend of the show. Tyson is my worst player in a 10-team points league. Would we drop him to stream his spot? I don't think I would. Not while Garland is out.
Yeah, I like keeping Tyson around. He's been really good.
Do we prefer Aaron Neesmith or Kelly Oubre rest of season? Neesmith for me, I think. I don't know. I'm not that high on Oubre. He's been really bad. I mean, he's better when players are out. So,
yeah,
of course, I mean, Paul George is questionable tonight after missing last night, and Embiid is out tonight. So he'll have spotty value. Neesmith's role is pretty secure, although once we hit...
He's been pretty rough this year, though.
Yeah.
Okay, the shot has been very, very rough. I might go Oubre just because there is some upside there, but it should be relatively... Honestly, I could make the argument for neither.
That's sort of where my brain is going, is neither an option. What does your waiver wire look like? Because I think you could stream equivalent, if not better value. But yeah, of course, if Paul George, if they go, his knee's stuffed, he's out for a month, then it's Kelly Oubre. How high are we on stashing Dylan Cardwell as a potential trade deadline beneficiary in 12 to 14 teams? What's his Noah Dynasty rank? I have Cardwell in 2 teams. I've picked him up. I don't know. I'm curious to see what the Kings do. Obviously, there's a lot of moving pieces here. If Sabonis goes, then yes, I think he is. If Sabonis stays and eventually moves into the starting lineup, which we assume he will, the question then is, who is the backup center? Is it Maxime Reynaud or is it Dylan Cardwell? And I think both of them have a case for that. So I've picked Cardwell up because he's playing 20-ish minutes. He's playing alongside other centers. So, yeah, I think he's worth grabbing if you can. A 14 team would be easier than 12. Dynasty, does he have any sort of value in Dynasty formats?
Yeah, he definitely has upside. I didn't have him in my roughly top 300 rankings, but I really like what he's done recently. And I mean, like throughout the season as well. Probably in that borderline top 300 range. When I saw this question, I added it to my list to see if I can get him into like that top 300 range. Take a look at that a little bit more. The only ranking that has him on Dynatize is Zach from Dizzle Dynasty has him at 403, but that was from a few weeks ago. I'm sure that's kind of started to tick up. So probably close to a top 300 guy. I think a little bit more stretches, like more of a stretch of production would be really encouraging. Like, let's see what he can do down the stretch of the season if they trade Sabonis or something like that. That would definitely help. But there's definitely a decent amount of upside here for him as a rebounder and defender.
Do we have Anthony Davis on any of our teams, and do we think he'll be ready by the playoffs? I do. I have him in, I want to say 3 teams maybe. I really hope he's ready for the fantasy playoffs, but I need to make the playoffs first for that to actually matter. Yeah, I mean, it depends when your playoffs start. I mean, my playoffs have already started in one of my leagues. And he's obviously not ready for those ones. I think there's a chance. It'll come down to whether he's traded, I think, and which team he goes to. But it sounds like he wants to be back at some point. And I think we were looking at sort of 4 to 6 weeks. So I guess he could be back post All-Star break, which for a lot of people would be fantasy playoffs. So yes, I think there is a chance he's back for the playoffs. Not a guarantee, but do you have him in any of your teams?
I believe just one Dynasty league. So I really need him back.
Yes, you do. Debating dropping Quentin Grimes. Who would we pick up? Jock Landale and M. Cornette? Who's M. Cornette?
I presume
Mr. Cornette?
Mr. Cornette, yes.
Mr. Cornette. Okay, Jock Landale and Mr. Cornette.
That was Mr. Cornette was his father. You can just call him Luke.
Yeah. Would dropping Grimes. Grimes has been pretty bad. It's another almost similar to the Kelly Oubre one. Any injury and he probably steps up. We saw what he did down the stretch last year. Landale's been pretty good. I'm skeptical though that it's sustainable. Cornette. With Wemby ramping up, I'd probably hold Grimes. I think if I had to pick up one of those guys, it's probably Landale, but I think I'd hold Grimes.
I think it's one of those situations I'd rather have Landale currently, but it takes one injury to a bunch of injury-prone players to open the door for Quentin Grimes to be really good. So
I can't answer this one. How do I stop losing players for the season every year? Stop drafting them.
I was going to say stop playing fantasy basketball.
Stop playing fantasy basketball. Look, it's rough. If obviously, I guess we're referring to Jimmy Butler here. And I was actually thinking the other day, we haven't had any ACL injuries this season, so there'll be one coming soon. And sure enough, it was yesterday. So, look, it's pretty rough. Obviously, you can go into the season and you can draft less injury-prone players. I don't know, draft Harrison Barnes and Mikal Bridges, then you'll probably be all right. What have we got? If we have Cam Spencer, are we holding him through the trade deadline? I think I saw something saying that Ja Morant has said he doesn't want to be traded. Did I see that correctly?
I did see that as well.
Yep. Okay. So based on that, he certainly looked really engaged yesterday. I thought was it yesterday they played or the day before, whenever they played their last game? Day before. I thought he looked really engaged, really positive. It was probably the best that he's looked all season in terms of a chemistry kind of team morale perspective. So at the moment, I would say chances are he isn't traded. And if that's the case, then no, you don't need to hold Cam Spencer. But you never know. Just because he has requested that he doesn't want to be traded doesn't mean that the Grizzlies don't want to trade him. So
exactly,
it's not up to the player. Well, it shouldn't be up to the player. Look, I think we're close enough that you could hold Cam Spencer, but I wouldn't be too sure that he's going to have rest of season value. Mark Williams has been frustrating all year. Next best center on my wire: Wendell Carter, Moussa Diabate, Luke Cornette, Dayron. Do I just hold him and continue to suffer? Look, Mark Williams is the best of all of those guys. But I will say that, just let me check. Because I was doing I forget what I was looking at the other day, but Mark Williams is the 42nd ranked player this season. To me, that I know the minutes are frustrating and the occasional missed game, but he's only missed 1, 2, 3, 4. He's only missed 5 games all year. The minutes are up and down, but he's sort of averaging 12.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 1.1 steals, 1.1 blocks, 78 from the line. I'd maybe take a step back here and just have a look at what he's been doing. He's not having any sort of explosive games or anything, but he's been pretty solid. So I would just hold him.
Yeah, I don't see a reason to drop Mark Williams at this point. I am also intrigued to see how things look with when Jalen Green with him back in the lineup tonight. See how if that opens up any offense for Mark Williams. I don't know. We'll see.
Very frustrated with Trae Young's situation. How much do we foresee him playing rest of season, and will it be enough to help during fantasy playoffs? Well, he won't play till the All-Star break. I think that much is clear. Yep. Beyond that, I guess, I mean, I only have him in one league, and it's a keeper league, unfortunately, so I have to keep him. If I was in a situation in just a standard redraft league where I need production now, I would consider dropping Trae Young. I don't think he's going to play a lot, if at all. I mean, do you have any inside knowledge or just thoughts on what and if Trae Young what his role will look like for the rest of this season?
I do not have any inside knowledge. My thoughts and opinion, even before the trade happened, was that the only reason it would make sense for Washington is if they didn't play him for the rest of the season. And I think there's a good chance that happens. I think that there's also a chance that we maybe see him play roughly 20 minutes per game for a couple of weeks, just so they can appease some people. And then they shut him down again because their pick is top 8 protected. So if it falls outside of that, then it goes to the Knicks. So they need it to be there. And then obviously they want it to be as high as possible because this is not a complete team. Now they have Trae Young. So they need another player at the top of this draft.
Yep.
They're not they could play Trae Young a little bit. Would not shock me if he didn't play again the rest of the season. But that is difficult to manage because do you really drop Trae Young with the chance that he plays? I don't know. I might look to trade him for somebody, and it might be a sell very, very low, but I'd rather do that than drop him.
Yep. Dynasty question for you. Would you trade Harden and Zubats for Maxey in a Dynasty league? I would say yes without being a Dynasty expert. That's a pretty
no regrets. Yes. Send it in. Don't look back.
Yep. Okay, good. I'm on the same page. Would we consider Jalen Johnson for Jamal Murray and Derek White?
Ooh, that's a pretty even one. That might be a scenario where the 2 for 1 is actually pretty good because I would still say Jalen Johnson's the best player in the deal, but I don't think the drop off to either of them is massive enough. And you're getting 2 players that are, I think Derek White's in the top 25 this season. So you're getting 2 top 25 players for a guy who's been a little bit not quite as good recently, but obviously still really, really good. I think I would consider taking the 2 for this.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's definitely fair. He's one from Chad. So he did decline my Chet deal, which was, I can't remember what it was, but the deal that he took was Dyson Daniels, Michael Porter Jr., and Garland for Trae Young. So he got Trae Young and he traded away Dyson, MPJ, and Garland. So I would have kept the 3 personally. But what do you think about this one?
I would say you did get the best player in the deal. I don't know that I love the deal because Dyson's still, and he's been better recently. I still am a huge Garland fan, but I know the injury stuff is weird right now, and the fit next to Donovan Mitchell is weird. Michael Porter Jr. is playing at a super high level. I think it makes sense to trade him now when his value is really high because I assume he gets traded somewhere else where he's still effective, but he probably is not going to see the usage that he has right now. So I don't know. Might have liked the Chet package a little bit better.
That's the answer I want to hear.
He paid me to say that, Chet.
All right. Of course I did. All right, we will start wrapping it up now. I know we've got a ton more questions. Of course, we're not going to get to them all. Zach Edey or Gafford to keep in your IL spot?
Edey.
Edey, I think. Yeah, I think it's Edey. We did the Warriors. We sort of, just recapping for those that missed, I think we were in agreement that Moody and Melton are our top 2 targets, followed by, Melton and Pajemski.
Yes,
Melton and Pods are our top 2, followed by Moody and then Post or Healed. I went with Post ahead of Healed. And Kuminga is in there somewhere. But until we know whether he's even going to play, it's hard to sort of rank him there. Let's just grab a couple. Is Mamu of the Raptors a pickup for now? Yes, I think he is. With Murray, Boyles, and Pirtle are both out at the moment. And they have 4 more games this week, I believe. So, yes. Should I drop Edgecombe for Melton, Moody, or Will Richards? So should I drop Edgecombe for one of the Warriors guys? I wouldn't, no.
Nope. I'm much rather have Edgecombe.
What else have we got? Oh, here's a good one. Is Cisse a stash? I've picked him up, so if that helps, I've picked him up in 3 leagues maybe, and he's been interesting. The question is here, well, when does Gafford come back? And I just don't see a situation where Gafford comes back and plays 30 minutes this season. I think even when he's healthy, and that's, healthy for Daniel Gafford, who knows what that looks like. He's playing 24 minutes. He's not playing starter level minutes. The question will be, who is the backup center with AD out? Is it Cisse or is it Dwight Powell? I know Powell's been starting, but is this a situation where Powell goes from starting to almost out of the rotation when Gafford is back? I'm not sure. I don't mind taking a chance on Cisse, though. Is he someone that you're interested in at all?
Not particularly. I think if I was between him and Dwight Powell, then yes, I'd prefer Cisse. There is a path for something here. I'd rather look elsewhere than a Mavs center.
What else have we got? All right, a dynasty question for you quickly. Rank these 3 dynasty buys. Peyton Watson, Jalen Tyson, AJ Mitchell. How would you rank those 3 in dynasty?
In dynasty, I can just tell you where I have them ranked. How about that? Jalen Tyson I have at 145. I think Peyton Watson first at 108. AJ Mitchell's actually 118. So Watson, Mitchell, Tyson, but a lot of value from all of them. They've been great this year.
Thank you for questioning whether Quinn Snyder should be coaching NBA basketball. It was. Look, maybe he didn't draw that up. I don't know. More value rest of season: Barrett or Buzelis? Points league. Ooh. I'd go Buzelis, maybe. I don't know. That's a close one. What do you think?
I think it's a close one. Gosh. I don't know. I feel like as soon as Barrett gets healthy, I'd rather have him. I don't know that Buzelis is going to get this silly season stretch this season that he had last year. So I think I'd rather have Barrett. Okay.
And yes, I do have a Masters of the Universe mug. That's my morning coffee mug. My mid-morning coffee mug is a Care Bears mug, if anyone cares. So there you go. All right, let's do 1 or 2 more. I know you Jaeger is not playing amazing. No, he is not. But you like him rest of season, so he's a hold, yeah?
I would say he's a hold. He's a stash, whatever you want to call it. Which is funny because in Dynasty, I'm like the exact opposite. Like a lot of people in the Dynasty community really like him, and I'm just not high on him long term. But I just think based on the Nets situation that he's going to have a really solid finish to the season. So it's funny that I'm in on him for redraft leagues and very out on him in Dynasty.
Yeah. Au contraire. In fact, as a Heat lifer, I am the biggest Tyler Hero hater in the world. Well, there you go. There's 2 of us, 2 people that don't like Tyler Hero. I have no idea why I don't like him either. He just annoys me for whatever reason. Is it time to give up on Khalil Ware? We haven't had any Ware questions. Hartenstein, Eason available in a 10-team league. I'd have both of those guys over Ware. Based on what we've seen the last couple of weeks, Ware is coming off the bench playing limited minutes. So I'd have both of those guys. I know they're injured, but Eason could be back tonight.
I agree.
Ware is now questionable for tonight as well. There you go.
Yep.
Would you drop Neesmith for Melton? I would.
Yep.
And let's do one more. Neesmith. Should I trade Jamal Murray for James Harden?
No, I'd rather have Jamal Murray.
Yeah, I think with Kawhi, if Kawhi was going to miss, I would. But assuming Kawhi's coming back, I'd probably rather Jamal. I know Jokic will come back as well, but Jamal Murray's been really good this year. So, I think I'm okay with that. All right, I'm going to let you go. We went a little bit over, but we had a ton of questions. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them. Noah, where can people find you? Where can they find your Dynasty stuff? A lot of Dynasty questions today.
Yeah. At NoUrban22, you can follow me there. You can always tweet at me and ask questions. I feel like that's probably the best way to get an answer out of me. But my rankings are up on dynatize.com. They got a lot of cool Dynasty stuff going on over there. I have my Dynasty show, the Young Man Squad fantasy basketball podcast that drops episodes when I have time. But yeah, I tweet most of that out. So at NoUrban22.
Follow him, follow me, follow Old Man Squad, follow everything. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a subscribe. The trade deadline show is up on the YouTube channel as well. So go and give that one a thumbs up. I know Dan wanted to get to 350 likes by the end of I was going to say close of business because that's what I say to people when I'm at work. But by the end of yesterday, so I don't know whether we got to 350. But that show's only a couple of weeks away now. So looking forward to a very, very long night here in Australia. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back next week, assuming Thunder Dan will probably be with us. He was due to be with us today, but he had some other things come up. So there may be 3 of us next week. And thanks. Go about your day. He is Noah Rubin. I'm Adam King. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. We are done.
You don't know where I've been, what's going on inside, where the monsters like to come alive.